All right, welcome back to Keepin the Comic, and we are diving back into New Gods here with the issue number 4. And it's here where we see GoofyRhexxi, who had just taken over Apocalypse, make his way over to New Genesis with intent to destroy it, which forces the Highfather to do something that he did not want to do, but he was always prepared to do. But elsewhere, we also see Orion, who had given Mr. Miracle 7 days to find the new godchild and hide him unless Orion would have to kill him. Well, those 7 days are up now, and Orion is looking to fulfill his Highfather's wishes. Now, when we dive into the story here, we get a flashback back to the beginning, and this is where we see Isaiah saying the words, "A new Genesis." And he's talking to Heman, and he's like, "What do you think?" So Heman responds back. He's like, "It is a good name for the promise you bring to this place, Isaiah, old friend." And Isaiah continues. He's like, "And we will realize it together. Not long ago, I thought myself spent and tired. Such war and destruction I have wrought with these same hands. It feels good to make, to build. I can see the pleasure in it. Somewhat like you, I suppose." But then he says, "Look up there, skyward." And when we see what he's talking about, he points us to Adonai, the god of structures, who wills into existence his vision in metal and stone and energy and magic, a place of blossoming hope, the finest garden fitting of gods, a place called Sirtuin. But Isaiah admits to himself, he's like, but it is missing something yet. Every great city must have a beating heart, Heman. And this is where we begin to see that the Highfather, Isaiah, has been asking Heman for something for quite some time, because Heman responds back and he's like, "I told you before, it is not ready. I do not understand it entirely yet. You are too impetuous." But Isaiah's like, "No, you are too cautious." But Heman continues. He's like, "I found the elements in the ruins of Galactica that was cased inside a strange sort of protective core. Element X, possessed of an intelligence in itself. It's a miracle. I have made a thinking device with it, a mother box." So Isaiah wants to know, he's like, "What is it doing?" So Heman says, "She is trying to envision what Adonai is building, trying to extrapolate its true potential. The intelligence is capable of refining and enhancing complex mechanisms, perhaps even organisms that attain their true potential." So Isaiah responds. He's like, "See, Heman, she desires to be a part of my vision." But Heman's not so sure. He's like, "She's an artifact of the old gods. She is only one half of an argument. And one does not make decisions knowing only half truths." And of course, Isaiah, he keeps pressing. He's like, "Sometimes, old friend, you have to have faith. I say this as a man who traded in the scepter for a shepherd's staff because of my faith." And it just dawned on me that this is the reason why I thought Isaiah always looked like Moses. The staff just really brings it all together. But let's continue. So Isaiah continues on. He's like, "I want you to build me another one of these. A bigger mother box at the heart of the city. And whatever worries you might have, rest well knowing this. Should any grave misfortune befall the stream that we build, I am Highfather, and I will not let it fall." But then we jump back to the present time here, where we see that GoofyRhexxi's men, they've reached New Genesis, and they took them by surprise because their ships were able to slip past their barriers. And Lightray tells the Highfather, he's like, "Their first volley definitely hit us hard, but the damage is not catastrophic," and how Vivek is already reconfiguring defenses, and how Akala is helping relocate ground forces. And Rahal also lets the Highfather know that there's some other defenses that are being set up as well to hold them off. And while Lightray and Rahal are continuing to tell him about the actions that they're putting in place to stop this attack, Highfather's not saying anything. So Lightray is like, "Highfather, say something in a way, right?" And all the Highfather says is, "Rahal, I want a barrier around the mother box at the heart of the city. There is something that I must do. And tell Shadowfall I am counting on her." And listen, when you see what Shadowfall does, I think I might have fell in love, y'all. But listen, we jump over to see Shadowfall, and she sticks that bow into the ground. She points up to the sky. She gets some light in her hands, and then she just pulls back and launches while she says, "Sleep well, my sweets, at shadows fall." And all we see are these light arrows that are just dropping down and hitting of all of GoofyRhexxi's men. But before we could see that finish off here, we jump over to Earth. Because remember, from the last issue here, Barda and Mr. Miracle were trying to save the new godchild and their family because they were being chased by Maxwell Lord's men. So we see Barda here just tossing him around like a ragdoll. And she's like, listen, enough. I don't want to hurt you any more than I have to. And meanwhile, one of the men picks up his gun and he's like, brat, brat. And she's like, you know what? Maybe I do. Baron is just sitting there, right, with Mr. Miracle and Barda's kid, and he's just having a massive cackle along. Now, meanwhile, the new godchild and his adoptive mother and father, they're still in the taxi trying to run away, right, from these men that were chasing them. So Mr. Miracle jumps on top and he's like, say, you wouldn't mind pulling over, would you? Like, bro, we're here to save you. So dude slams on the brakes. Meanwhile, Barda's trying to figure out, she's like, yo, where's Scott? But Baron lets her know, he's like, I imagine that he's trying to get everyone in the cab to calm down long enough for him to explain what the hell's going on. But then in that moment, Barda's mother box starts going off. And she's a little perplexed because she's like, this thing has been pinging me the entire time. And she's asking the question, she's like, the message, have you heard it? Meanwhile, Mr. Miracle has gotten the family to get out of the taxi. And he tries to go over to introduce himself to the godchild. And he's like, my name is Scott Free. I'm Mr. Miracle. And I'm here to keep you safe. But then he hears the words that say, War, O Baron, New Genesis at war. And the voice that he heard was none other than the voice of Orion. And Barda is like, oh no, his 7 days are up. And when Orion comes in, he's pissed. It was like, it was my folly that I thought this was even possible. Look, brother, look at the fool who thought to question his father's judgment. I should have killed that child the moment I was asked to. Maybe then all this would have never come to pass. Because you see, Orion, he blames the child for the war that's happening. Because he continues on, he's like, 7 days, Scott. Time flows differently in the fourth world. Look at all that has happened in that time. New Genesis is at war. So when we jump back to New Genesis, what we see here is that Shadowfall has decimated the first landing force. Light Ray right now is taking out the more mobile ships. Magnar is covering the southward gates. They have smaller forces probing there. And every time that Magnar takes out a ship, he absorbs it, making himself bigger and stronger. And for the most part, the defenses are holding. They have the larger force, but they have the superior power. And Rahal was trying to let the Highfather know, he's like, I think that we should take the fight to them, but I am wary of attacking an opponent I don't even know. So the Highfather responds back, he's like, I've seen them in my visions. Holding them will not be enough. And he continues on by saying, for long ages, I kept my little dream alive, but I have grown older, and so has New Genesis. Perhaps it was naive of me to believe such a fragile dream would need no protecting. Or perhaps I was only a fool holding on to the dream of being a peaceful God. Rahal tries to comfort him. He's like, even foolish dreams are worth protecting, my Highfather. But the Highfather continues. He's like, perhaps it is time I stop holding back the rest of you for my own whims. The Heka, the Wonder Staff, is more than a symbol. Since I first wielded it, I have had the ability to limit just how much of the source the new gods may tap into. So now I give you all a full release, the God Surge. Now, while he's saying this dude is taking off his top, he's holding the staff in his hand, and he starts walking up these stairs. And Rahal was like, Highfather, where are you going? And he simply responds back, he's like, sometimes, Ra, to save one dream, you have to kill another. Now, elsewhere, we jump back to seeing one of Karak's men talking to him. And he's like, my Dean Karak, we have been unable to secure a landing site. And he lets him know that Shadowfall at the northbound has been taking out their men. So Karak says, he's like, order the Canes to make ground where they will, landing or not. So his man responds back, he's like, but my Dean, the ships, we will lose many. And Karak is just intent on the mission. He's like, some will crash and burn, many will die. Those of us who do not, we will have landed. And it's in this moment where we see a big ship landing down. And Shadowfall realizes, she's like, oh my goodness, I don't think I can stop this. So she tries her best, but as you can see, that ship is bursting its way through, and there's nothing that she can do to stop it. But then we jump back to Earth as we see Orion try to jump and attack a child. And Mr. Miracle tries to do his best to save him. He's like, this child is not to blame for the war that's on New Genesis. You hurt him now. How are you any different from your father? And Orion doesn't take too kindly to that. He's like, how you dare say that? But before he could finish, here comes Barda with this big ass uppercut to the jaw. And she's talking to Mr. Miracle. She's like, let's talk it, hun, more fighting. But then in that moment, the Godchild starts to glow. And Mr. Miracle is like, Barda, do you feel that? Something's changed, some kind of surge of energy, because they're now starting to feel what the Highfather has done, which has released the new God energy. And that surge of power is now beginning to surge through the Godchild. As his eyes start to light up, the markings on his face begin to glow. And then next we hear the words again that says, sometimes to save a dream, you have to kill another. And it's the inner thoughts of the Highfather. He said, I once dreamed of peace and joy and wondrous things. And yet here I am, return, the inheritor of grim wisdoms. And we see him put on this badass suit of armor. And then he says, Light Ray, Akala, clear the field. Listen, it's about damn time that the Highfather got off his ass, right? Now, personally, this was a beautiful setup issue, right? Phenomenal setup issue here. Ram V continues to write gems with this entire series here. I love how for the Highfather just kind of come full circle, right? This whole thing started off with a dream, and he thought that he could protect this dream by taking a staff and putting down his sword. But at the end of the day, there will always be a fight that you need to go through to protect that dream. Listen, I would love to hear what your thoughts are down below in the comments. I cannot wait to see what happens here in the very next issue, which comes out next week, I believe. Leave a like here on this video for the YouTube algorithm so that this video can reach a wider audience. Subscribe if you're brand new to the channel. Hit the notification bell so that you know when the videos do go live. And check out our links that are down below in the description where you can join our Discord, where you can also follow us on social media. You can also join our Patreon as well, which is another way to support the channel so that we can continue to bring you great content. Appreciate you watching, and as always, thank you so much for kicking it with Keepin' It Comic.